Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, the Trump administration launching Operation Midway Blitz, a sweeping ICE crackdown aimed at illegal immigrants in Chicago, blaming sanctuary policies for politically motivated crime. Local leaders from Governor Pritzker to liberal faith communities pledge resistance. Details on the way this morning. Also, jury selection kicks off in Florida for the man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump while he golfed, and he's insisting on representing himself. We're going to bring you the strange, bizarre motions already emerging in court as this unprecedented trial unfolds. And also, the Apocalypse Now fallout. Democrats go ballistic after President Trump posts a meme saying, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning," transforming a popular movie quote into a threat. We're going to show you why leaders like Senator Tammy Duckworth and Governor Pritzker say it's a dangerous slide into authoritarian rhetoric that Americans can't ignore. Yada, yada, yada. Those stories and so much more ahead as the second hour of American Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm David Brody, coming to you from D.C. Let's bring in Dr. G in West Palm Beach and T. Bates in Denver, Colorado, in our Denver newsroom. Good morning to both of you. Hey, so here's the thing on this Midway Blitz. Can I just say that, how about we talk about the fact that sanctuary cities are actually unconstitutional? In other words, the federal government is trying to do their job. It is in the Constitution that the federal government is required to enforce immigration law in our country, Gina. And this idea that sanctuary cities can just go about and say, no, we're not going to want any help from the federal government, that's literally unconstitutional.
Right. It's amazing to me the feigned deafness, if you will, on the part of Democrats, essentially, because this has become such a partisan issue. Not all issues are partisan. But this has become so partisan. This is the illegal immigration and the crime that is inherent has become the main issue of the Democrat Party. Like, they are fighting for this criminal activity, always negating, always acting like they don't understand the fact that the original crime of illegal immigration in and of itself is a problem. They always want to say, well, we shouldn't deport them because, if they haven't committed any major crime. Yes, we should. Because what about the people waiting in line? What about the people who did it legally? They always want to forget that. I know people who've been here 20, 30 years and have been trying to get their family members here for that long. And instead, our entire system is completely dilapidated with all of the illegal activities that the Democrats continue to condone and that continue to increase our crime, Terrence.
Absolutely. David and Dr. Gina, the Trump administration actually celebrating a bit of a win this morning before the U.S. Supreme Court after the justices ruled that immigration officials can continue to detain people based on their race, ethnicity, or language. Monday's ruling puts on hold a Los Angeles District Court judge's ruling, which temporarily stopped the practice of detaining people without, quote, reasonable suspicion about their legal immigration status. Following the ruling, the Department of Justice promised to quickly resume roving patrols in Southern California. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi calling the SCOTUS opinion, quote, a massive victory, saying that ICE officials can now carry out patrols without what she calls judicial micromanagement. In her dissent, liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor writing, the administration, quote, has all but declared that all Latinos, U.S. citizens or not, who work low-wage jobs are fair game to be seized at any time, taken away from work and held until they provide proof of their legal status to agent satisfaction. The federal roving patrol immigration policy is also facing lawsuits from various civil rights groups this morning. President Trump continues to stand up for religious liberty. During a meeting with members of the White House Religious Liberty Commission at the Museum of the Bible earlier yesterday, the commander-in-chief delivering remarks saying that we all have to bring back religion in America. He also announced having donated his family Bible to the museum to be put on display. But arguably the most important message that he passed was setting the stage to support students practicing their faith at school.
In many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous. I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection.
The president also taking the opportunity on Monday to send prayers and condolences to the family of murdered Ukrainian refugee Iryana Zarutska. Her stabbing was caught on camera, and while we're not going to show you the worst of it, some of what you're about to hear and see may be disturbing. Just want to warn you. Investigators say the 23-year-old's accused killer sat right behind her on a train in Charlotte, North Carolina, and cut her throat with a pocket knife despite having no interaction with her. That's the guy in the red shirt you see there. Police confirm the 34-year-old suspect has a decades-long criminal history, including a 5-year prison stint for robbery with a dangerous weapon. His mother claims that she tried to have him committed due to his increasingly violent behavior earlier this year and his schizophrenia diagnosis. The man was arrested at the scene and is now charged with first-degree murder. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your nationwide forecast from meteorologist Tracy Anthony.
Thanks, Terrence. Good morning. One of the big stories today is Tropical Storm Kiko. Now, at one point, this was a major hurricane that is starting to weaken rapidly as it pushes north of the Hawaiian Islands. So as of this morning, it is now a tropical storm, and the threats to the Hawaiian Islands continues to diminish. So we will still have some large waves and some tall swells and some very dangerous rip currents. We'll also have a few passing rain showers, and Honolulu even had record rain yesterday, picking up about a ½ inch. But we are really not expecting too many major concerns as this storm continues to push farther and farther out of the area. Now, back across the lower 48, we are expecting a few systems to impact the northern Rockies and the Great Lakes. But notice Florida. This is where we're bracing for significant rainfall. I'm talking 3 to 5 inches over the next couple of days, and they've already had it socked to them with rain over the last week. So more moisture. This is actually a good thing, though, for their drought conditions here across Florida. But those chilly temperatures also in place across the East Coast, feeling a little more like October. Back to you, Terrence.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Appreciate that reporting. Now let's get you over to David Brody. David, good morning.
Good morning, T. Bates. All right, it's time now to turn our attention to today's top story. Of course, that is, as we all know, the Trump administration rolling out Operation Midway Blitz. It's a massive federal crackdown targeting illegal immigrants in Chicago. By the way, illegal immigrants, not immigrants like the media likes to say. They leave out the word illegal. Governor JB Pritzker and local leaders are furious because I guess they're invoking safety. Anyhow, calling the move politically motivated and dangerous. But the White House insists this operation is about restoring law and order and protecting American communities. So joining us with insight and the latest developments and details is John Solomon. Of course, John, the editor-in-chief of Just the News, host of Just the News here on RAV. John, we should point out this Midway Blitz is being done in honor of Katie Abraham, who, of course, died back in January in the Chicago area after an illegal immigrant allegedly slammed into her car while he was drunk. Your thoughts about this latest ICE operation going down in Chicago? How do you think it's all going to play out, sir? Good morning.
Good morning. It's going to play out just fine. Americans are behind what President Trump is doing. It's you look at the polling, a majority of Americans support it. They believe that this country was allowed to get out of control. And they understand that when you do enforcement actions like this, you're not targeting a specific ethnicity like Justice Sotomayor falsely claimed yesterday. She played the race card or the ethnicity card yesterday by saying this is only about Hispanics. But remember, they just raided a Hyundai plant and rounded up a whole bunch of South Koreans. It isn't about ethnicity. It's not about a race card. It's about removing people from this country who came in illegally. And many times, not all of them, but many times those people commit other crimes while they're here. They drive drunk and they kill someone like that poor woman in Illinois. They stab someone. They rape someone like Laken Riley. And so Americans feel like this effort is to end avoidable crimes. And I think the president has the moral winds behind his back. He's got the political winds behind his back. And the Sotomayors and the mayors of these blue cities, they are on the losing side of an issue. And if they keep drilling down on this, they'll probably see the results of that outcome in the 2026 election. This is going to be one of the defining issues in the 2026 election. And right now, President Trump has all of the benefits on his side of the equation.
Yep.
John, Republican or Democrat, at least some members of Congress are teaming up to stop congressional insider trading. The Restore Trust of Congress Act would ban lawmakers and their families from owning individual stocks. Real divestment, real penalties. But AOC and Scott Perry are backing it. Speaker Mike Johnson says he's in. Could this be the biggest ethics reform in years? And could something like this really restore trust?
I think it does. And by the way, President Trump also put his shoulder behind this last night with a couple of statements. Listen, this ought to be called the Nancy Pelosi Act. I did a lot of reporting going all the way back to 2010 and 11, as did Peter Schweitzer, another great journalist, on how Pelosi's husband just remarkably kept getting great IPO offers from credit card companies and other things. At the same time, his wife was shepherding legislation. We've seen this time and time again. We've also seen the inability of lawmakers to comply with the Stock Act, which was the first effort at reform on this, a much more tepid reform. But you see regularly Republicans and Democrats not complying, not disclosing stock transactions under the law. So that law, despite its good intentions, has failed. And I think now what you're seeing is an effort to realize that in order to restore some trust to Congress, these lawmakers are either going to have to put their stocks in a blind trust or get out of the business of trading stocks. And I think that the American public is, we got a poll in the field right now. We'll see how this tests, but I suspect it tests very well. They don't want lawmakers trading on insider information no more than they want stockbrokers doing it. And I think that this law is going to probably get through the Congress with bipartisan support, and it'll be a good reform for the institution. The institution is not very popular with Americans these days, so it might be a good thing to do something that restores some of that trust.
Well, John, this next story I'm going to bring up probably also not going to be very popular with Americans. There's new FOIA information out that says that taxpayers forked over about $11 million to protect Hunter Biden. We're talking trips to Nantucket, holidays, Caribbean trips, luxury hotels. I could go on and on. The point is, all of this was on the American dime. And I think the overarching story here, John, is that the Secret Service claimed that it had staffing and funding shortages during major security failures as a result of all of this, or doing all of this. Go ahead, John. I think you're kind of, I think you're ready to go on this one, huh?
Chomping at the bit.
Chomping at the bit. That's the saying I couldn't think of. Thank you. You're chomping at the bit. Thank you, David.
Well, I'll bite on that one for sure. All right. So, listen, at the end of the day, there is an assessment made by the Secret Service when someone faces a risk or not. They decided that Hunter Biden faced a security risk as the adult son of the president, and they provided some protection. It's not surprising to me. What is surprising is that the Secret Service, for most of the last decade, has not been properly staffed to handle these things. This is not hard science. You got a family come in, they got 4 adult children or 3 adult children. You staff accordingly. But the Secret Service has been profoundly understaffed for more than a decade, and they just keep moving chairs around on a sinking ship. And I think that that's been a problem. We had a story just a few weeks ago, and I just want you to think about how profound this is. This was from the Homeland Security Inspector General. The sniper prevention teams, so the sniper teams that are out there that ultimately shot the gunman that wounded President Trump. They are 73% unstaffed. And one of the ways the Secret Service dealt with this, rather than go get more marksmen and solve the problem, because Congress is never going to deny the Secret Service money, they started borrowing other marksmen who weren't qualified to be marksmen. So you may have a shooter on a rooftop who's protecting President Trump who's not a good shot. Now think how insane that is in a country that wastes a lot of money on things that are frivolous, when in fact security is something that most Americans believe is a good use of their tax dollars. Hunter Biden has a lot of problems. He walked on the IRS tax problems for a long time. Those are serious issues. I don't think most Americans will be upset that the Secret Service provided some protection to him. I think they'll probably be upset that a lot of that probably involved overtime and paying 1.5 or 2 times what it would have cost to protect him if they had the right staffing at the Secret Service. And I think now, under Sean Curran and Donald Trump, there is a true assessment going on. For the first time, when the Secret Service got called out on this sniper thing, for the last decade, although you don't know what we do, we got this. Yeah. They don't got it. For the first time, the Secret Service said, you're right, we got to fix this. And they worked with the Inspector General to put some fixes in place. I think there's a new mindset to fix the Secret Service under Donald Trump.
John Solomon, great to have you with us. And I thank you to the control room for not showing the Hunter Biden bathtub shot. Yes. So just a quick shout out to
yeah, that's not good for morning breakfast. I'm good.
No, that needs to be like after hours. Thank you, John. Appreciate you.
Good to be with you guys. Thank you.
We are back in a moment, everybody. Stick with us.